Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday night's Freedom for Targeted Individuals podcast. I'm your moderator, Ella. You can join us live, which I encourage people to do every Tuesday and Thursday beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time by calling 515-739-1285 and entering the ID 400014#. This is a solution, educational, and activism-based podcast, but the views and opinions of my guests and participants are not necessarily my own personal views and opinions. My goal is that everyone can obtain something out of tonight, especially a feeling of empowerment. And tonight we have a very interesting, compelling, and remarkable, that's a better word, guest. His name is Nolan. He is an artist who was born in 1977 and now lives in Toronto, Canada. He has been surviving intensive electronic harassment and assaults from an organized criminal network for the past 15 years. During the directed energy assaults on him, Nolan documented concentric ring beam mark impressions on his workshop window, which became visible when the window was fogged up, very much like the marks that Dr. Matthew Aaron showed in the recent episode of Legend Hunter. Nolan brought that evidence to our attention not long ago, which forged the connection between Nolan and our team. Since 1994, Nolan started creating hollow sculptures from sheets of iron. He is an incredibly accomplished sculptor, and for those of you who are interested, you can check out his amazing work at www.nolansculptor.com. That's NOLANSCULPTOR.com. His artwork is beautiful, and many of them are inspired by ancient Persian art. Nolan likes to capture inspiration from different cultures, environments, and personal tales from around the world. He is a man of beautiful art and the free exchange of ideas, and one day soon Nolan would like to do a large, inspiring sculpture that captures the past struggle and eventual success of the TI movement in overcoming the human rights abuses of organized stalking and electronic harassment. So, Nolan, thank you so much for coming to the call.
Thank you, Ella. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
No problem. And tonight I have Dr. Matthew Aaron here, and he will be doing the interview, and then we move to the later part of the call. I will take over again. So we turn it over to Dr. Matthew Aaron at this point.
Hi, Nolan. How are you doing?
It's very good, Matthew. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the call. I guess, I think most people here would like to start with hearing about your artwork. I'm checking it out on your webpage right now, and it's incredibly impressive. How big are these sculptures that you make? They look quite large.
Thank you, Dr. Matthew. The latest statues I made is the big girl. It's 8 feet by 5 feet. And other lady in my website, this is the 6 feet tall statues. This is a lady with the wings. And usually my statues, they are big. So the lion with the wings is 4 feet by 4 feet. Yeah, you can see all of my statues in my website.
Yeah, I'm looking at them now, and you've shared other pictures with me. They're very beautiful. I hope to come up there to Toronto to check them out. But I'm just curious. How did you? When you were a kid, did you know you had talents for doing sculpture? What got you into this work?
It's coming from the back home. So my father had a friend, so he taught me how to make a statue. So I was very interested that when I was 14 years old, so I'll follow it and I'll try to learn it. So that was like my hobby, and what I was looking at like my future job. So that's why I love it. So I try to learn it.
Well, it's clear to me that you've gone beyond learning it, and you've mastered this medium. I can't wait to see it in person. So if you don't mind me asking, where are you from originally? Where did you live before Canada?
I am Persian, so I left Persia at 2002. So I came to Canada as October 2002.
So you came to Canada many years ago, early 2000s, and but I believe you told us in correspondence that that your targeting began before that. Is that correct?
No, Matthew. I came to the Canada at 2002, so my targeting began at 2003 when I was in when I was in the Guelph city. It's a small city in Ontario. That was my targeting is begun.
Okay, and then it followed you to Toronto.
Yes, Matthew. Yes.
Okay, so can this is a call for targeted individuals mostly. So I'm sure the people listening would love to hear or be interested to hear if you can describe whatever you're comfortable sharing a little bit about your targeting. Maybe what circumstances were associated with it beginning, and what kinds of persecution and harassment do you get? And you only have to share what you're comfortable sharing.
Yes. Sure, Matthew.
We're curious to know about your experiences.
Sure, Dr. Matthew. Yeah, I want to share my story about my targeting and what's going on, and why I am in this situation. I love to share with the others.
Okay, start with the beginning.
My targeting is started at 2003, and as I said, I came to the Canada in 2002. So I was in the small city, is the Guelph in the Ontario. I was new in the country. I had a neighbor. So the neighbor was always complaining about the voice in his skulls, and somebody talking to his mind, and he was complaining about the frightened images in his head. So that was 2003, and he was my neighbor. So but nobody believed him, and always we see him as the person with the mental problem, and is every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, the force is coming and take him to the mental hospital, because he's talking about the voice in his skull and frightened images, and somebody just
let me jump in. Okay, let me jump in. I'm curious about this. So at that time, this was presumably before your own targeting began. So thinking back and remembering as objectively as you can, at that time, did you have a sense that this person was suffering mental illness, or did he seem to be normally functioning despite having these claims?
No, I saw him as a mental. The person had a mental issue, because what he said in that time, it doesn't make sense. But when this is what he described in that time. That I have same experience. That time, he was right. So what he's saying about his targeting, that was true. So anyway, it's my target that is start at 2003. So I made a status at the Guelph city. And at 2004, I go to the Toronto. I went to the Toronto. So that was the start with the street theater. It's something about the unusual behavior at the Toronto. What I see in 2004 in Toronto is that was the unusual behavior, and I saw some people that try to drive you out of society. They want to drive you out of the public. So and they want to try to put the label on you as a criminal and as an untrusted person. And I felt the conspiracy about me, somebody following me, somebody try to make you, and that's I feel dangerous in my life in 2004. So because of this stalker following me.
Okay, so I just want to clarify, just to clarify for the listeners, because remember, we have some people listening who, we hope to have some people listening who have not heard about these harassment tactics, these persecution tactics. And so you were mentioning street theater, which we are very familiar with, and those are carefully orchestrated harassment skits where personal details will be used, but it's orchestrated in a way where a bystander might not recognize it as harassment, but the people that are doing it make it clear that it's invasive and intimidating. And also, you mentioned the word conspiracy, and I just want to clarify. I think you're referring to the term conspiracy in the true sense of the word, where a number of people conspire to violate you or deprive you of rights or harm you. So that is the sense that you're talking about conspiracy, not in the popular sense of conspiracy theory, but in the sense of a criminal conspiracy.
Yes, Matthew. Yes. That was it happened to me, and that was I saw something is unusual in my life. So I saw that something is bad is happening to my life. So I just because of this happened in my life, I donate one of my statues to the human rights organization in 2004. Just I wanted to donate them because I want to show them I am not a bad person. I am an artist, but that doesn't stop them. It's continue, and so I find this electronic torture, like the electronic shock pain in my body.
Okay, before you get into the electronic part, just to clarify this story, I'm curious to know, did you have any kind of interaction with anyone? Was there any event that kicked off the harassment, or do you feel that you were targeted at random, or was it because you were a recent immigrant to the country? What is your feeling about that, or do you have no idea why you were targeted?
No, I had no idea why I am targeted in that time, but I saw the many faces in my targeting. I saw the person, and he was the as you know, I am immigrant here, so I am a foreign person in here. So I saw the person. His name was Phil, and he's a Catholic priest in the church. So he was the main reason of my targeting. I just because he showed me himself. It's some certain time in my life. So I saw him many times in the street. Is when he wanted to me know he was the cause of my targeting. So he was the person who put me in this situation to start with the electronic torture.
Wow, that's incredible. It just goes to show you the reach, because if you're seeing this person repetitively, especially to this audience, it's very plausible, it's very, very credible that a person should not be showing up and basically following you and interacting with you so repetitively. And it's too bad that you couldn't document that on film. But it's very credible, especially to us. And for this person to be associated with the church goes to show you how pervasive this harassment crime has become. One might think that the church would be the last place you would notice this, but unfortunately, we hear from a lot of victims that this criminal behavior has even gone into places that we wouldn't expect it to be, like the church.
Yes, but it's not professional. If you follow somebody, if you want to know who they are, so why you have to show your face to them? Why you have to show them we are following you?
Well, not professional. I would say not professional is an understatement, but I get your point. Yeah, it's way, way, way beyond not professional. So anyway, continue.
And this person, he's the trusted in the government. I think he's I am Persian Canadian, so I think he's American. So he's the person with the power in here. So he hires some people because they spoke my language. My perp, they speak with my language. If here I know as who they know the voice of the skull. So what's happened to me when somebody to communicate with me in my mind, they speak my language. So this person, he's the Catholic priest. He's a trusted person in the government. So they hire some people from my country to following me, to torture me, to doing a bad thing to my life, to just destroy my life. Now it's 15 years. 15
yeah, that's
years.
Terrible. That's terrible. Let me ask you another question before. Okay, so you've described some organized stalking, or what some people call gang stalking, and now you're going to get into. Apparently, I knew this from your correspondence, that you're also a victim of electronic harassment. Are we in Guelph now, or is this in Toronto?
So I live in Toronto now.
So what you're describing was happening in Toronto?
Yes, Matthew, it's happening in Toronto, yes.
Okay, so what I'm curious about is if you can remember back from your home country, I'm just not sure, but I think because Iran may have, a system that is not as free as Canada, did they have government-sponsored surveillance and harassment in Iran? Do you recall when you lived there? Was that part of the society?
No matter when I left back home, so I have no any idea. When I came to the Toronto, I find the knowledge about the electronic torture because it's happened to me. So I don't think so because
I was just curious if there was anything about your background that allowed you to immediately recognize gang stalking. For example, we've heard from we have people in our community that come from Cuba, and when they came to the U.S. and they had gang stalking or organized stalking in the U.S., it reminded them of government-sponsored harassment from their home country, so they were able to recognize it very quickly, whereas you're telling me that it was a complete surprise to you. It must have been a very complete surprise because especially you wouldn't expect this to be happening in quote-unquote free Western countries.
maybe it's happened because this highly intelligent technology is widely globally. Maybe it's happened. Maybe some people in the back home they are targeted. Maybe is should be happen. Yeah, this.
We're absolutely sure that it's happening. I was just trying to get a sense for your historical context. But anyway, let's go to the electronic harassment. So you mentioned V2K, which is audible, auditory, targeted auditory harassment, and tell us some of the other types of electronic assault or torture that you get.
Yes, Matthew. This is my targeting is so painful. I know the other TI, they have the same experience. My targeting is so bad. Maybe that's why I am a foreign person here. I always have is something in my head. It's like the big pressure is my head. So they don't let me to focus. They don't let me to be a normal. Always I have electronic shock. I have this you see the voice of a skull. So all the time I am tired. I am dizzy. It's really tortured me. It's really tortured me. It's like it's all the time with me, 24/7 with me. It's the frightened images in my head. Maybe I want to say something. Maybe the other have the same experience. My perp start 2 months ago. They start to put the image in my head. They stab me with a knife, and they just try to. It's behaving me in my images. So it's so scary, and so that is make me so depression, and it's so bad. And all the time in my head, they're talking about the killing. They're talking about destroying my family. They're talking about killing my mother, my brothers, my father. It's very painful. It's very painful, and it's just a torture.
Well, I can certainly relate. Everything that you're saying, it sounds awful. It's horrible. I have a firsthand experience with this. People on the call do, and it's not just this small group of people. As you know, as I'm sure you know, this is happening to thousands of people. It's a really horrible situation, and it still grows, more and more prevalent. And I'll tell you from my knowledge and from my firsthand experience, everything that you're saying, every experience, every effect, I don't like to use the word symptom, are effects that are being reported by a lot of people. So, you can keep telling us, but I don't think you're going to tell. So far, you haven't said anything that our audience, our community hasn't heard before from a lot of people. But it's awful. And do they target you? You said it's constant. It's pretty much constant. Are there not times during the day? Does it come and go? Does it have periods where it's really bad? Do they target you while you're trying to do your sculpting? Do they ramp it up at night for sleep deprivation, or is it really just like, as you said, constant all the time?
This matter is sleep deprivation. It's the sleep deprivation, and when I started, it's the last year when I start to making my artwork. I start to make statues. So last year I felt 4 times how I felt the homeless. So when I see the homeless people, when what happened last year to me, and I felt it. I see what is the meaning of homeless, how this equipment, this highly intelligent weapon, they can do you to start to walking. Just you have to walk in because you cannot think. So I felt it. I felt what is the homeless meaning, and this was very, 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 very frightened me and was very scary. But now I feel okay when I start to come into online. This 2 months ago, I started showing my artwork in the online to the people, to connect with the other TI. So my targeting is little bit is softer now. It still is very painful, but it still is little bit is softer. So, but still
maybe the targeting is not softer. Maybe you by connecting, maybe it's given you either better coping skills or more strength to have more strength. Well, it's possible that the targeting's gone down, but what you're saying is commonly reported that the worst part of targeting is when you feel disconnected, and the targeting is the worst. That's clear. But targeting and feeling alone and with no connection to others is far worse than targeting when you know there's a group of people that are trying to get the word out, that are fighting the same issue.
Yes, but they're still following. It's not the constant, so they're still following me. I can't see their faces. It's always in my head. So this is the communication in my head. This is continuous. So yeah, the tribe, is every TI group. They try to isolate you. They try to break your financial. They try to separate you from the public. But
absolutely. How have you managed to continue doing your artwork and functioning in a family, and what has kept you going during all this 15 years of criminal harassment?
But just how I love to live. So how I wanted to have my family. How I want to connect with my family. So that is happened to all of us. This is a torture, but I continue to follow my life, and I try to not think about it, and I try just go ahead and just forget about them. But it's that's the equipment they use that is very powerful. So they can damage to your brain. They can stop you somehow. They can. It's happening. It's
absolutely.
Happened.
Well, we're very glad that you have connected with the community. We're glad that you are speaking out, and it's great to have people like you who are articulate and skilled and successful, because the more people that connect and speak up, the larger our voice becomes. I have a couple more very specific questions. In your targeting, have you ever had the impression or the actual indication or even solid evidence that corrupt police officers are participating in the targeting?
No, I have not any impression about no. So it's it's mostly the electronic torture, and that is and the street theater. But no, I have no any impression or intention with any officer.
Okay. Appreciate the candor on that. Now, another thing that I'm very curious about is, in my experience and in the testimonies and stories and facts that other targeted individuals have related, you often find that metal, iron, can give some shielding properties against this electronic harassment. And the other thing that you see sometimes, and this is mostly from my experience, is that for the, as you said, the harassment sometimes can produce these visual effects. And what I noticed is that the harassment signals or the attack signals can produce visual anomalies as they interact with metal. So in your workshop, I know you work with large iron sheets and you create these large iron sculptures. Have you noticed that has offered any shielding properties, or have you ever noticed any kind of interactions with these visual harassment interactions with the metal?
I try to many different things because when I was in my workshop, so sometimes it's targeted is so bad to me. So I try to use the shield. So I'll try to find a different sheet of the iron or another material to cover my head or cover my body, but no, none of those is working, and that was no shield. I tried many things, but none of those is working. And this equipment is they use it to torture.
It's very advanced. It's very powerful.
Very advanced and very powerful. You're right, Nazari.
Yeah,
I tried anything.
Yeah, I mean, whatever shielding, when they really go after you, any shielding that you can get is like trying to shield against a laser with glass. It's most things are very transparent to whatever energy sources they're using. But one thing you might want to try, just something to try, is if you have these large panels of iron, if you know a little bit about electronics, you might try grounding the panels, and the capacity for them to shield may improve.
I follow the targeting on the YouTube how to make a shield, and I follow them. I follow their instructions. So I do anything I do about the aluminum foil, about any kind of the metal. I try many things, but it doesn't stop it. It doesn't stop it. It's continue. Is you can feel that. You can feel the electronic shock. You can feel the voice of a skull. And when they shoot you with this equipment, you can't feel all of them. And it's not shielding. It's not reduce them. That was my experience. And
yeah, absolutely. I can relate to that. Many people in the community don't even have given up on shielding and don't do it because the efficacy is partial at best. However, others have found some relief from different shielding approaches. So, but it is frustrating because there is no magic or I guess that's not a good choice of words, but there is no perfect solution, and that's an understatement. But let me ask you this, Nolan. Now, you showed me some pictures of these concentric rings in your workshop window, which were very similar to the marks that I documented up there in Vancouver also in your country. So tell us the story about how those came about and how you discovered those.
I was in my workshop, so I feel it's very painful. It's very painful in my chest. So that was a rainy night. So that was rain, and I felt this very 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 pain in my chest. So I feel that the beam is coming from the outside. So I was looking for the window. I saw the mark, and I was seeing your video at the YouTube. Is your beam mark at your apartment? I saw it. I said, "Wow, this is the same mark as the Matthew have at his apartment." So that's why I take a photo of it and just send it to you. That is exactly the same beam mark you have.
Well, I appreciate you doing that. That's very interesting. And I'll tell you, at this point now, I have gotten similar evidence sent to me from four people, and I would be the fifth person. So it's nice to see, because I always said to myself, if what I documented had legitimacy, then eventually I would start seeing similar documentation from others, and that's happened. And so I can tell you that there's a number of people in the community that have documented these concentric rings in places where they had the experience of high energy attacks, coming from that direction. So it's very interesting. I'm glad you did that.
That was an accident. So I just saw the mark. I just saw the mark as an accident.
Well, that's true for me as well. When I did it, it was pure accident. I steamed up my apartment in order to fog windows up so that the people that I could see in the other building could not see me, and also I wanted to make the air very humid to try to minimize this feeling of electrocution, which I'm not sure if you've ever had that, but sometimes when you get hit, you feel like you're being electrified, and I was trying to counteract that, and I wasn't expecting the marks. They were just by pure accident.
Yes, Matthew, I saw the Legend Hunter. That was the brilliant. That was a very good, very documentary about us. That is, I think, is time is changed. So we have a YouTube. We have somebody to make a document about this target thing, and I hope it's get away this torture, get away from us. It's very painful.
Yeah, I think I think a lot of the people in the community have a sense that things are moving in the right direction. Speaking about Canada, I was on a call last night, a support call in Canada, which is actually in your part of Canada, the eastern part. And if you, since you're Canadian, if you ever want to listen on that support call, you can get the information from the call on the call from the FFTI website. Are you familiar with that website?
Yeah. I have your website. Yes.
So if you go to current action and events, and you scroll down and you see the Canadian flag, you can see details for a new Canadian support call. And I went on that call, and it sounds like Canadians are starting to come together, and they're speaking very strongly. And we heard from you. So I see from our perspective, our neighbor to the north is growing in strength to the community, and it makes me very happy.
It's perfect, Matthew. I saw the billboard about the British Columbia, Vancouver. I saw the advertising. That was amazing. I have to thank you for this advertising. It's very, very real, and is good design. It is artistic and a good word. It's a directed energy weapon assault. What happened to the diplomat in Cuba is perfect. It was, you see, it's something is going on. So it's very good for us.
Thank you for saying that. I can't take the full credit for that. I'm just one person in a team of people. We have Ella is working on that project, and we have a donor by the name of Anne who is helping us with that project. And we had an original designer, Constance. So that's a team of people, and they all deserve thanks. And we do have another one coming out, which I shared with you, which is coming out on March 2nd, which will be the entire side of a bus. So we're very excited about that.
Yes, Matthew. That was when I it's the first of the interview when I mentioned my neighbor. So in that time, nobody was listening to him. So now you see, we have you, we have Ella, we have lots of TI. We have a TI community, lots of educated people. So it's somewhere I can call and I can talk about my target. So it's very good. It's very good. We are not losing our hope.
Right.
We have to stay together to solve this crime, man.
I agree with you, Nolan. I totally agree with you, and I hope that you, each person has to decide how they're going to deal with this, how they're going to speak about this. But I think I hope you continue to raise your voice in your own strategic way, and with all the voices in the community, and we're talking different countries. Our voices, each one is small, but together our voice is going to raise into a very loud voice that will be heard in the near future.
Yes, Matu. That's what we have to do.
One thing that I wanted to, before we end the interview, one thing I was curious about that you shared with me on the phone the other day when I spoke with you is that you said you were hoping to somehow capture this issue and this movement in your sculpture. And do you have any specific plans, or is this something you would like to do in the future?
It's all the TI. If they have any idea about the making the sculpture, about the targeted individual, any design, anything, any idea, just they have in my website there is my email address, and we can make something, some sculpting, some statues, and if we can mount it in some city if they let us, just to tribute to the targeted individual. If anybody have any idea, just email me, and I'll do my best. I'll try to make it. Maybe we can just install it in some area in some city if they let us.
Well, that's a great idea, and I think we will definitely keep that in mind. And we will. I'm going to come and see your art in person, as I said, this summer, if they let me into Canada. That's a whole other story. But why don't you give everyone your website one more time?
Yes, my website is Nolan Sculptures, NOLANSCULPTOR.com, and there is many different of the shape of the sculpture. So please see them.
Do you have any shows coming up in Toronto? Any art shows?
Yes, the next art show is the March 10. And this is the first time I want to anticipate in the exhibition. That is the next coming in the July at this year. And I hope I can go to the show and show my art to the people, because as a targeted individual we are limited. So who I am right now, is half of my brain is working because I felt if the pressure is my head always in the top of my head is hot. So that is when I touch my is my top of my head, I can feel, whoa, my head is warm. So that is make us tired. That is make us we couldn't think straight. So I have a very hard life, you know. I live in the hell, work hard, and electronic shock, electronic torture, street theater, talking about my family, talking about my mother, my brother. I am really in the torture. I am in the suffer, and I hope it's always get away from us and we can go back to the normal life. It's very painful.
Well, this whole community, everyone listening, we're all with you. We hope you can continue to have the strength. Our thoughts are with you for sure. We can relate to what you're going through. It's very real. It's very criminal. It's very destructive.
Thank you so much, Matu. Thank you very much.
I will be in touch with you, and I'm glad you told me that you have an exhibition in July. That's the one I'm going to try to make it to. Thank you again for coming on.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matu. Thank you, and thank you for inviting me to the show. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.